Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig, it's 9 o'clock. I'm here with the marvellous Matt Cluley. And, that's you. And we're back with the final episode of the blockumentary. Now, obviously, we ran the blockumentary for a few weeks. And then we took a little bit of a break for a variety of different reasons. Matt got a little busy over Christmas. I got a little busy over Christmas. January was meant to calm down, and it didn't.
It did not.
February has been nuts, and now we're getting into March, and it's even busier. So we've had a very busy...
Fucking March.
I know. We've had a very busy couple of months. However, we wanted to wrap up the blockumentary ahead of season 3 of the Matt-umentary. So...
There is no season 3 of the Matt-umentary. We haven't got time.
Yes,
it's not going to happen.
We have got time.
It's not going to happen.
We have got time. I've been speaking to somebody very important about it.
Oh, who? Who?
You don't need to know.
Why do I not need to know?
Because it's not. It's a need to know basis. You need to know. You don't need to know.
Whatever.
You just need to go along with it.
No, what?
I've just noticed there's a badge on your cap. What does it say? Hang on, let me have a look. Let me look. What was it?
Why do you need to take it off? You can see it.
I can't. My eyes bad. What is it? It says magic. What's the badge for?
Which one is it? That one?
Yeah, the little round one. I'm just interested.
I can't remember.
Brilliant.
It's the it's the South Tyneside one.
Oh, South Tyneside.
South
Right,
Tyneside.
okay. I just wondered. So we wanted to wrap up the blockumentary because obviously we had to take a break for a few months, but we wanted to wrap it all up and bring it to a successful conclusion. Because here's the thing: if you didn't see the first few episodes of the blockumentary, the idea is that I sat in a room with Matt, and I said, I've got a brand new I've got a new thing that I want to look at. Mark Spellman has released a download all about Blockhead, and Matt said, what's Blockhead? And I pointed out exactly what it is, sticking your nails up your nose. And Matt refused, point blank, absolutely. No, he said, I'm never going to do that. I'm never going to stick a nail up my nose. That's ridiculous. I'd rather drink a pint of my own diarrhea. Now,
I don't think I said that.
I remember you saying it. Now, fast forward a few weeks, we had many different episodes of you trying to learn how to stick a nail up your nose. You know, I remember the first time that you were able to stick the nail up your nose. It was a very exciting moment for everybody concerned. But you even said, on the final episode that we shot, you even said, okay, I've managed to do it just about, but there's absolutely no way I'm going to do this in a gig. There's no way I'm going to do this in a performing situation. I don't like it. It's not nice, blah, 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 blah. Fast forward now to the beginning of March, where we're wrapping up this blockumentary. And if you remember, at the first episode, I said, I think this could be a big thing for you. I think this could be a big showstopper for you. I reckon this could be in your show, and this is something you could do that very few people are doing, and it would fit your style. And you went, don't be ridiculous. There's no way I'm going to put a nail up my nose. Where would you do that? And I was like, you could do it to close your stage show. And you were like, that's ridiculous. I'd never do it to close my stage show. And I could be like, no, it would just fit beautifully in your show. No, I'm never going to do that. It's never going to happen. Anyway, fast forward to this point. What's the new closer to your stage show, Matthew? Would you like to tell the audience?
There is no audience. It's
Would you
just me and you sitting in a room and him standing there filming us.
What's the closer to your stage show?
Blockhead.
Blockhead. So who was right? I'll wait. Who was right?
Why are we doing this?
Who was right? Who was 100% right when you were like, I don't want to put a nail on nose. I know why we're doing this, Craig. We're doing this because you can make me look like a fool on the internet. Now, that was obviously part of my master plan. However, I really did think that you could put this in your show. So, you don't need to say it. We all know I was right and you were wrong. What I want to know, before we show people the footage, we've got some footage of Matt doing it. What changed? Because the last episode of the blockumentary, genuinely, you were like, okay, I can.
What happened in the last episode? Is he actually telling the truth?
Yeah, you'd learnt to like you'd learnt. You sat here and you showed me you nail it. It was the first time you'd ever put a nail up your nose, and you were like, it feels really awkward. I don't like it. I'm not going to do it again. Oh, it's horrible.
The first time I ever did it was in my bathroom.
Yeah, we put that footage up there, and then the first time.
Oh, we did. But I filmed that as well, didn't I? Fuck me. Why do we like? This is ridiculous.
Okay, so now the question is, genuinely, this is an interesting question. Fast forward 4 months. Why? Why, Matt? Why has it gone from...
Why? Why, Matt? Why?
No,
Why?
It's an interesting situation because there's people here. I know, we've looked at the comments. Michael will confirm this if you think I'm talking shit. There are many people that have said they've taken inspiration from your journey to learn block, and they have actually started to learn blockhead as well, right? And then there's other...
Really? Don't do that.
Lying, Mike.
Don't do it. It's...
And then there's other people that have said, I'm never going to do it in a million years.
Good, don't.
No, but in all seriousness, for somebody who was so dead set against learning blockhead...
Because
but now,
it's putting a 4-inch nail into your face. Like, really, there's no trick. You hammer a 4-inch steel nail into your nasal cavity.
We know this, okay. But fact still remains, you've got to a point now where you've done, in the last week, 2 very high-profile shows. You did the official after party, the Blackpool Magic Convention, and you closed that show with Blockhead in front of a bunch of magicians and lay people. And then last night, I saw you at the Curious Cabaret. What did you use to close your show at the Curious Cabaret? Hang on, let me think for a minute. What was it? Hang on, it's on the tip of my tongue. Oh, that's right, it was fucking Blockhead. So, my question is, genuinely, why? Like, why? Why did you change your mind on this? Because let's be honest, you don't need Blockhead to close your show. You've got plenty of stuff. You know, he's got more stage material than close-up material.
That's true.
You know, you do a lot of stage material. I haven't seen you do Psychology by Luca Volpe for ages, but you do that brilliantly. But it's not because you don't like it. Yeah, it's not like you don't like it. You've got so much other stuff. You've got loads of stuff. You've got that trick that you do with the new imposter, combining it with the sneak feast, which is brilliant, by the way. You've got all the stuff that we talked about last year, Rex Cygnus. You've got that Cluedo thing, which is really good. You've got loads of stuff. And we haven't even considered Stebbins. We haven't even brought into the mix electronic dice, and you've thrown a new thing into your repertoire now, pictures of dead people.
Yeah.
You give Matt a few pictures of some dead people, electronic dice, and Stebbins, and he's good for like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
So
easy.
So you don't need to do.
It's been about 3 years actually.
You don't need Blockhead. You do not need Blockhead. So turning around and saying it's stupid, I don't need it. You know, whatever. You've closed 2 shows, and it's not just like I'll do it in front of magicians. You can, if you'd just done it at the House of Secrets, which was mainly a magician audience, I could accept. But Curious Cabaret, there were a few magicians in there, but it was mainly lay people.
It is mainly lay people at the Curious Cabaret.
So talk us through seriously, because I've got to go soon, and you've not said much. Why?
Well, it's because you haven't stopped talking.
Right, I'll stop now. Carry on. Go on. In fact, actually, before he talks, let's show the footage, first of all, of Matt doing this at the House of Secrets. Thank you to Nemid Phoenix, the world's greatest videographer, for filming this.
We're out of time, though, right?
You got time first.
We've got time?
Yeah, you have, yeah.
Are you sure? Lizzie, we're out of time.
You're looking for excuses.
We're out of time, right?
No.
You sure?
Absolutely.
Craig?
What's coming up next is coming up next, then.
We're supposed to be mates. Jesus Christ. Okay. This is not the thing to do at the end of this weekend. Okay. We've got one more thing to do. Make yourself comfortable, Lizzie, yeah? Yeah. If you are in any way, shape or form squeamish, this may not be the thing to watch. None of you leave, great. Okay, hold on a second. Also, please do not try this at home. Seriously, do not try this at home. That's my show. Thank you so much, everybody.
We'll show the Curious Cabaret footage later. So they've just seen you stick a nail up your nose. And I love the choice of music. I love the theatre of it. I love the fact that you don't say anything. I love that moment where, you know, you've got the rubbing alcohol and you use the Dead Rebel kit to do it. You can talk all about this. But I love the fact that you get them to clean the nail and then you take a switch. The whole thing is choreographed beautifully. You know, let's give you your flowers. It's amazing. Talk us through.
I think you hit the nail on the head with that one
Or the
word.
nail up the nose.
No, or the nail in. Yeah, you hit the nail into the face with one word, which is choreography. So when I was looking at how to do it, obviously Mark does it a very different way, and he has them in the glasses and stuff, and he talks all the way through it, and the way that Mark does it is amazing. But I rewatched a few times how Darren did it. And it's just on stage, the way that he does it, he still talks through it a little bit, but it was the kind of the vibe of just doing it to a piece of music. And it's just a little piece of art. Like, you can really play with it and act. So I have to act in it, and it's choreographed and it's done to music and it's beautiful, and it's the kind of the light and dark with the fact that it's this really nice piece of music that's just an acoustic little piano piece that's actually quite it's not upbeat because it's quite slow, but it's, you know, it's not very like a hard piece of music. It's quite soft.
Yes.
And then the thing that you do with this nice little piece of soft music is you hammer a nail into your face. So it's kind of got the light and dark of that, and being able to do that on stage to a room full of people. And the first time we did it on stage properly was Blackpool.
By the way, I just want to say, I love that you have a spectator coming up on stage.
Yeah.
Because the reaction of the spectator, both times I've seen you do it, the reaction to the spectator really hammers home, pun intended, to the rest of the audience.
that it's actually happening.
Where their reaction feeds the rest of the audience.
It does, yeah. People are reacting off of that person that's up on the stage. And when you get that person up, they've got no idea what's happening. And then you take out the glove and you take out the little wipe thing and then the cleaning fluid, and which is the cleaning fluid is vodka, which is why I can take a sip of it. And then you hand them the nail, and then you take the hammer out, and even though you've given them a nail and they've wiped the nail clean with the cleaning fluid and then handed you the nail, they still don't know what's happening. At that point, the muggles, if you don't know the trick and you're not a magician, at that point you still don't know what's going to happen.
No.
Until the nail goes to there, nobody's got a clue. And then all of a sudden there's the realization, and you get that audible intake of breath when you put a nail to your nose, that, oh my God, they've just realized what's going to happen. And then you proceed to hammer a nail into your face, not saying a word. And it's unlike anything that I've ever performed on stage before. It's crazy, the reaction it gets from people, and the mood in the room. Like, you could literally hear a pin drop in the room. Like, everyone's just, unless you've got a dog barking at you. But the whole mood in the room changes, and you can feel it. And it's, and you get to like act a little bit and do a little bit of choreography and within a magic show, which doesn't happen very often. You don't very often get to do that kind of thing. So
it's lovely that you can communicate the theatre of it without saying a single word.
Exactly. I really liked the idea of, I think it was Drew that initially said, because I was like, what kind of vibe am I going to do this? And he just went, just don't say anything. And the second that he said, just don't say anything, it all just went ping, done. I was like, yeah, perfect. That's perfect. Let's do that. And then we enhanced on what we'd done at Blackpool for Curious Cabaret last night, and changed nothing major, but just the way that it was presented, changed it ever so slightly.
Well, hang on, let's quickly look at that footage. Let's look at Matt doing it from the Curious Cabaret.
Yeah, okay. Chris wouldn't let somebody else do this, so I'm going to kind of have to do it myself, which is fine, other than the fact that it sucks. The one thing that I do have to say, this is another old Carney trick. The one thing that I do have to say to all of you, please, if you're squeamish in any way, shape or form, feel free to look at the floor, or your partner, or whoever, or get a drink, or whatever you want to do. Go outside. Are you squeamish? No. Good. And please, do not try this at home.
So, totally different audience, slightly bigger
Yeah.
venue.
Other than Drew.
Yeah,
And Jake. And you.
randomly, yeah. But totally different audience. What did you change between the first performance and the second performance?
Somebody, I can't remember, and I'm really sorry to whoever it was that said it, but I can't remember who said it.
It was me.
It wasn't you.
It was definitely
somebody.
me.
It wasn't. Somebody said it to me. Really, I don't know whether it was at Blackpool or since Blackpool, but somebody said it to me that if you take their hand and then hold the nail over there and make the joke of you're going to hit it through their hand, that always gets a laugh. And I kind of half-arsed it doing that performance, but it did really get a laugh. And then just to slow the whole thing down a little bit and not have, I can't remember who it was that said that to me either, but just to not have two things happening at the same time. So if they're cleaning the nail, let them clean the nail. If you're taking something out, set it down before you touch anything else and just do everything in single motions. And it just kind of, and then I just kind of overacted a little bit last night, but I was really into it. I got really into it, and it feels good. It felt really good doing that on stage. So yeah, I love it. I actually really love performing it.
So
I looked forward to getting to that point of the show where I could do it.
So if I could turn back time,
Yeah.
if I could find a way,
If I turn back time.
and I could go back to when I suggested for the first time you learn Blockhead, and I said to you, you know what? You're going to love this. This is going to be the closer of your show, and you're going to, your words, not mine, look forward to actually doing it. Would you believe me?
No, not in a million years. No, I'd have reacted in exactly the same way as I did back then, and it's a fucking stupid idea. And it is still a stupid idea. It's still a stupid thing to do. It's not big. It's not clever. It's ridiculous. You're hammering a 4-inch solid steel nail into your face that is just over an inch below your brain. It's a fucking stupid thing to do. I've still asked loads of people what happens if I sneeze. What happens if you hit something in your nose and you sneeze, and then I headbutt the table and hammer a nail? You know what I mean? I don't know. Like, it's a stupid thing to do. Like, you could very easily hurt yourself. It is a dangerous thing to do, regardless of how many times you do it. Mark's done it a gazillion times, and he still had nosebleeds on stage. He's still bled everywhere. Like,
So are you going to continue to do it?
yeah.
Are you going to do it like Mark Spellman used to?
I'm going to start doing it in
close-up?
kids' shows.
Are you going to? Are you going to do it close up? Would you do it close up?
You could do it close up. You're not.
Yeah,
gonna
I'm
have
asking
the...
you. Well, Mark Spellman did it close up. I remember
Yeah, he
saying
does.
to you.
He's
I
doing
remember-
it to celebrities on film where the
Yeah.
camera's there and
Yeah.
he's got.
So
and
would
he
you
still
do
does
it close up?
Yes, I would do it close up. Yeah, I might
Like-
take a hammer and a nail to my next close up gig and see what happens.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That'd be, but like genuinely, I think that as long as it's the right gig, like,
It's the right gig and it's the right people, and you can, you have to warn them first. And like you saw on both of the videos, we've said, if you're squeamish, if you don't like this kind of thing, turn away or leave the room or whatever it is. And, please do not try this at home. I love how my cue for the music starting is don't try this at home. So don't try this at home. That's the cue for the music starting.
Not that we're short of material, but I think this would fit into an illusion show as well.
Fuck me. Our illusion show is like 4 hours long already.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'd happily do it. I'd do it. Now I've done it, and I can see, and I've felt the reactions. Because it's weird as well. Obviously, when you're on a stage, like a proper stage, you can't see anything anyway because there's lights in your faces. But even like little ones, like the House of Secrets and the Curious Cabaret, you've still got lights kind of blinding you from seeing the audience a little bit. But when I'm doing that, I don't look at anyone. I just pick a point on the ceiling and just focus on that, and it just, I think it's because you are slightly dissing. It's the only point during the show where I'm not really looking at the audience and engaging with the audience, and because you've got that little bit of disengagement from the people that are watching you, they kind of like, oh shit, like he's really concentrating at the moment. He's in this. This must be really dangerous because he's not paying attention to us at all now. All he's doing is concentrating on hammering this nail into his face, and it just shifts the kind of feel in the room. But yeah, I'd do it close up. I'd do it in the illusion show. I love it. I absolutely love it. If it was the right time, I'd do it anywhere now.
Wow.
I did it. My brother, my middle brother, not my baby brother, my middle brother, the photographer from Liverpool, he came down with his mob. He's got like 4 kids and a wife. And he was like, "Can you do it for the kids?" And I was like, "No," because one of them's like 5, and the other one's like 7. And then he was like, "Can you do it for the kids?" And I was like, "That's not a good idea." And he was like, "No, do it for the kids, do it for the kids." And I was just like, "I mean, this is on you. If you're asking me to do it," he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Clear it with Nat," who's his wife. And Nat was like, "Yeah, that'll be fine." I'm like, "Oh God." So I had to sit in the living room with 3 nieces and a nephew sitting around me and hammer a nail into my face on my living room floor.
I bet they thought it was awesome.
They thought it was amazing. It was amazing.
You know what? I think that kids would find it amazing. You could never do it in a kid's show. But the parents would just be so upset.
Oh, yeah, totally. But I mean, he asked me to do it. I said no like 3 times and he just kept asking me. So I was just like, fine, it's on you, they're your kids, whatever. But they loved it. They were in complete shock while it was happening and they didn't want Uncle Matt to kill himself. But yeah, they loved it. But it's just...
They're young, wait till they get to know you better.
Yeah, that's true. It just gets a reaction from people. It's one of those things that just people don't understand it. And then when you hammer it into the nail, hammer it into the plank of wood afterwards, which that plank of wood that I used last night at the Curious Cabaret is the same one that me and Drew dug out of a skip at Blackpool and we used at Blackpool. So I'm taking that little piece of wood around with me everywhere. That's my hammering in piece of wood.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, and then you hammer it into that, and then there's another realization of, holy shit, that's not a trick. Like, he's actually done that. So you get like 2 kind of goes at it.
That's brilliant. So a couple of questions. First of all, before we wrap this up, number 1, why do you not do what Mark Spellman does and stick 3 nails up your nose? That was the original plan.
It was the original plan, because I can't. My nasal cavity isn't big enough. I made at home. It won't.
It's not the size that counts. It's what you do with it. It's a common problem.
And it won't go in the left one at all. It's the nasal cavity is just not big enough. So it will. I've tried. I genuinely tried, and it will not go in the left one. So I can't get anything in there. And the right one, I put a nail in, and then I got another one in. It was literally. I could feel it, like it made my nose bleed. I actually made myself bleed trying to get the second one in there, and it just wouldn't go in. So I don't know whether my face must be a different shape to Mark Spellman's, because the second one I did try multiple times, but it just won't go in. So I don't know. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. I don't know.
One is good.
I mean, one gets a reaction. So
yeah. Okay. Next question. Shout out to Dead Rebel Magic, because that little kit that you've got.
Cerebrum, yeah, it's amazing.
If people want to do Blockhead, and we'll ask that question in a minute, but Cerebrum, yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. Cerebrum from Dead Rebel Magic.
Yeah.
You get the little box with the
wooden box, and you get the clear bottle that you can put anything in. So I put vodka in so I can take a sip out of it. I pre-clean the nail before I start, so I know that the nail's clean. Vodka is obviously, it cleans anything, it's ether anyway, isn't it? So it will clean the nail as well, but the nail is pre-cleaned. And you get that little glass bottle with a beautiful label on the front, and you get loads of pads, the cleaning pads, and you get like the old style looking nail, and then the little hammer. And I put the gloves in myself, but you can get them from eBay for like fucking £1 or whatever. But yeah, the box itself is beautiful, and when you lift it up, it's got the picture on the inside of the brain and things like that. It's just a beautiful way to demonstrate that product, and it fits the style that I like. And yeah, and I think it's like 60 quid.
Yeah.
It's fucking nothing for a 5 minute stage piece, and it looks incredible. So yeah, deadrebelmagic.com. They're on sale now. You can go and buy them. Even if you didn't want to do the trick and you just wanted something cool to put on your shelf at home, you can lift it up and set it nice, and it'll be a nice talking piece for when people come round and be like, "What's that?" "Oh, well, it's the thing that magicians do, where they hammer a nail into their face," and then show them the video of me doing it if you don't want to do it yourself. But yeah, it's for 60 quid. I would literally buy it as an ornament, and it is. When you go to my house, it is an ornament on my shelf. Unless I'm gigging, it's on the shelf set nicely.
That's very cool.
It's amazing. It looks beautiful. So yeah, I recommend everybody goes and buys that.
Okay. Next question. Mm-hmm. For those people that are sitting here watching you, no, let me finish. I'm going to ask what advice you would give people.
Don't.
But first of all, please bear in mind that you have now got your new closer for your stage show. You said that you love doing it and you look forward to doing it in your show.
Yeah.
And you get incredible reactions from doing it. It's a very difficult trick to follow with something else because it is literally a showstopper.
It is a showstopper, yeah.
So, if somebody else wants that,
Don't.
tell them, not me. People are going to be like, don't tell me I can't do it. I'm inspired by Matthew Cluley and his journey into magic.
Yeah.
I want to stick a nail in my nose.
Cool.
That's the only advice you're giving them. Don't do it.
Don't. It's really dangerous, man. And it's not pleasant. Doesn't feel good. And like I said, I did it last night. I can still feel it now. Like, this nostril feels different to this nostril. And since I started doing it, this nostril has felt different to this nostril. It's not a pleasant thing to do. It's not big. It's not clever. Just don't do it.
So if somebody is ignoring your advice and wants
that's
to do
fine,
it,
and
what's
that's
the
their
way
decision.
to do it? Would you suggest looking at the Alakazam download? That you
Oh,
learned?
if you are absolutely dead set on doing it and you're not going to listen to my advice or Spellman's advice or anybody else's advice that tells you not to do it and you're just going to do it anyway because you're being forced to on a fucking YouTube channel or something, then...
Can I just point out, if I hadn't forced you to do this, you wouldn't have this. You'd be closing with Stebbins.
I wouldn't be closing with Stebbins. I've got a million things to close on.
Something like Stebbins. You'd probably throw someone a fish.
But if you do want to do it, then the way that I did it was to watch Mark's download because it's brilliant. It literally tells you everything you need to know. And even though I've got the absolute privilege of being able to text Mark and ask for advice, I didn't need to during the learning of that because everything's in there. He doesn't leave anything out. You can watch that start to finish, and by the time you've got to the very end of it, you will have no questions whatsoever about how this works or what to do or what not to do or how to do it or what you need to do it or anything. He doesn't leave anything out. It is the most detailed tutorial you can possibly imagine, and I think he did that on purpose. He gets out a skull, like a fake skull, and then he's got a nail and he's showing you where the nail. Do you know what I mean? He goes proper scientist on it, because I think the reason that he did it like that is because it is such a dangerous thing to do and it can go wrong. That if you are going to try, he was going to give you literally every morsel of information you could possibly find to make sure that you are as safe as possible doing it. So my advice would be, do not do it, because I don't want anybody hurting themselves based on something that they're trying to copy me doing on the internet. That is not what I want. I don't want to be responsible for anybody being hurt in any way, shape or form.
I'd just like to point out on behalf of Magic TV, if anybody does try to do this trick off the back of watching Matt do it, Magic TV, we absolve all responsibility, and it's completely on Matt Cluley, who is a completely separate entity to me in Magic TV. He's his own thing, comes in here occasionally, sits with me, has a chat with people, doesn't really have anything to do with us. This is us, this is him. He sits there encouraging people to stick nails up his nose. I sit here, I'm like a beacon of light in the magic community. Don't do it. Him. Oh, yeah. If you hurt yourself, it's on him. Carry on, Matt. I'm sorry.
It's not just my nose that's hurting them.
So, have you got one last thing to say about Blockhead?
Don't do it.
Don't do it. That's what we're wrapping this up with.
Don't do it.
Don't
But
do it.
if you are going to do it, the way that I did it and the way that I successfully survived doing it was to watch Mark's download twice back to back while sitting on a car park in Kent waiting to go into a gig. That's how I did it.
There you go. So drive down to Kent, find a car park.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's as far as I'm aware, there aren't any other ways of learning that are, I mean, there might be published in a book. I think the way that Mark said it when he first did it was there was a 2 lines in a book that was telling you how to do it, and he basically said, get a nail, put it in your face. That was it. So his way is the most in-depth way, the most in-depth tutorial that I'm aware is in existence anywhere in the world. So if you're going to try, go and get that. But my recommendation would be to not and just let fucking idiots like us do it.
Us. Don't bring me into this. I'm never shoving a nail up my nose.
Me and Mark.
Anyway.
And Darren. Have I just put myself on the same list as Mark Spellman and Darren Brown? I feel like I should be tracked to that.
You heard it here
I'm not
first.
in the same. I'm not in the same league as Mark
Matt
Spellman
thinks
and
he's
Darren
better
Brown.
than
I did
Mark
not say
Spellman.
that at all. They're just the three
Darren
people
Brown.
that came to mind. I put Danny Ragg on the list because he does it too. Me, Danny, Darren, Mark.
Good to know. John Morton.
John Morton. John Morton.
Anyway, now we've talked about idiots putting nails up nose.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you very much. It's the end of the blockumentary, but in the immortal words of Doctor Who, the end is here, but the moment has been prepared for, because coming soon to Magic TV will be season 3 of the Matt-umentary. That tricky, final part of the trilogy where we put Matt through more pain.
What? Wait, what?
Through more suffering. We put him into positions where he's never been in before. We watch him squirm. We watch him
Don't want
suffer.
to squirm or suffer.
We push him as far out of his comfort zone as he can.
Why? What are we doing?
For your entertainment pleasure.
What are we
And
doing?
hopefully when we come out of it at the end, he'll be in a much better position. Season 1 was him learning how to be a magician. Season 2 was his journey to Blackpool, performing at the world's largest magic convention.
Yeah, I mean, I've performed now at the world's largest magic convention. I'm the only person in history, as said by you and Russ Stevens, that has been in the Blackpool Magic Convention brochure after being in magic for less than a year.
Yes.
So we don't need to top that.
And season 2.5 was all about learning to put a nail up your nose.
Yeah, and I did that too, and that's it.
That's it. That's the thing. You see, every single
Peaked.
time I challenge him, he rises to the occasion. So we're challenging you again.
I don't need to. We're peaked. That's
No,
it. I don't-
me and Mike have got ideas.
I've performed at Blackpool.
Me and
Done.
Mike have got ideas. This is going to be a multi-climax. And who doesn't like a multi-climax? This is going to be a multi-climax season. There's 3 or 4 things that he's going to have to achieve at the end of this season.
Why?
Why not?
What things?
Got to keep.
Tell me
upping-
one of them.
Got to keep upping the ante.
Tell me one of them. Well, how are we going to get any bigger than the Blackpool Magic Convention?
We can get way bigger.
How?
Way bigger.
There is no bigger. We're magicians. There's nothing bigger than the Blackpool Magic Convention.
The smallest part of the trilogy, the smallest part of this final season, involves something that's going to start kicking in next week.
What is it?
You'll find out.
Do you know?
A little bit.
He knows little bits.
Little bits.
Why don't you tell me anything? We're supposed to be mates.
Need to know basis. Anyway, I've got to
I
go.
don't want to do it.
You're going to do it. I've got to go because I need to.
I don't want to do it.
I need to make a phone call because obviously next week something big's happening and it involves you. So I'm just going to nip and speak to Marvin. I'll see you a little
Speak
bit.
to Marvin?
Can you wrap this up for me?
You're going to what?
Bye, mate.
Why is he speaking to Marvin?